I'm sitting here and it's now starting to hit me. This window is going to be an absolute mazza. We're doing madness right now because today, my friends, I'm here to give you guys the big, real updates behind our interest in Mohamed Kudus, Joao Pedro, Ekitike, Maignan, plus a lot more news you guys can't afford to miss out on this summer window. Hopefully, this summer window is the best one and the summer window to end all summer windows. We only need one final window of spending so we can focus on the important stuff, which is silverware, trophies, and titles. So if you guys are gassed by what we are doing this summer window, hit the like button, share your thoughts and opinions. And my friends, let's tackle today's latest reports. We start things by discussing club news at this point in time, my friends, because it does seem like we could see some potential exits, some surprise ones. We do have an article today coming out from Court Offsides. It does discuss the future surrounding Newcastle's interest in Noni Madueke. It has existed for a long time, and as the article says, Newcastle have approached us to make an inquiry over the possibility of signing their long-term target in Noni in this window. Now, Noni has had a lot of interest from many clubs. AC Milan are expressing interest, but they got no money. They're losing all their best players. It's a sinking ship right now. Go and fund a move for Joao Felix, yeah. But us now, it seems like based on latest reports, we could be open to Noni leaving us, depending if the money is right, if the offers are serious. We're not going to force his exit. I don't think we have to. Court Offside reveals that we want to start conversations at fees in the region of 60 mil euros. It goes on to state that Newcastle value him between 40 to 42 million, which is, come on, that's criminal for a guy that's become an England international, 23 years old. He is not worth 30 something million pounds, yeah? He is not worth less than what we paid to sign Joao Felix. Let's keep it real, Newcastle. If you want him, you need to bring in serious money. You guys, ideally, I would prefer to keep him, but I'm at a stage right now where maybe I'm getting a bit too impatient because I want to win. I want silverware. I'm getting bored of not doing that. Last summer, if there was a chance to sign Olise, I probably would have accepted Noni being the number 2 if it meant Olise came. I've got the same energy right now. At least Noni's showing us that he can play left wing, right wing. There's more versatility to him. And I don't think he's a guy that will want to quit. He'll feel like he is good enough to beat anyone to that first team spot. So let's see what happens there. But to move on, my friends, we have some really interesting reports coming out from Italy. And it seems like Napoli are expressing an interest potentially in signing Chalobah. Now, Chalobah has been a very popular player for many clubs across Europe, especially in Germany and especially in Serie A. And at the moment, as it says here, Napoli are looking at defensive recruitment and they're looking at Trevor Chalobah. He's valued for his ability to play across many different positions, especially in a back three. And this is obviously something that Napoli wants to continue with. So let's see what happens. Listen, you guys, ideally, I think Chalobah deserves to stay here. I think having a guy like this with his experience, leadership, respect, he should remain in the squad. He's always underrated. He always comes back and he lets his football do the talking. He doesn't complain. He doesn't moan. And I think he does that because he knows he is better than he's valued for. So if Chalobah did go, I'm thinking this guy is at least 40 million. 35, 40 million easily. I think he's one of the underrated players, and it's no surprise that Napoli are seeing value in the underrated English guys that I don't see why most clubs in the league don't take more value in. So that's the news to pay attention to. But in the meantime, my friends, we do have small updates surrounding shirt numbers for next season. I thought was worth mentioning. As revealed here, Cole Palmer is set to wear the number 10 shirt of Mykhailo Mudryk. Now, this kind of confirms that we might not be seeing Mudryk for a very long time. There was no mention of Mudryk at all. It's just, listen, this is now your shirt number. It's funny because, listen, if this guy's going to be banned for a long time, yeah, we can just easily eat up his costs and still afford to buy another 80 mil guy, 60 mil guy, whatever. So, it's funny how this game works. I feel for Mudryk. I think it's a very unfortunate circumstance he finds himself in. I don't think it was done on purpose. I think it was pure naivety. It's a shame. But at the same time, you know, Cole Palmer wearing the number 10, it makes sense. Maybe it should have happened a long time ago, in my opinion. But it is what it is. To move on, of course, Liam Delap is set to wear the cursed number 9 shirt. Now, come on, it's not really cursed. Let's not do that loser talk. And I love the fact that Delap, in his mentality, obviously that's the first shirt number he wants. I bet that was the first demand that he asked for before even discussing his wages. And I think he has the mentality, the confidence, and the hunger in himself to make sure he won't be a victim to this shirt number. So how are you guys finding the latest club news? I had to get out of the way first so we can focus now on the big transfer stories to pay attention to right now, my friends. And now let's discuss the latest reports surrounding Mr. Mike Maignan. My friends, we have some updates now. Big scoops on Mike Maignan. I'm excited to see what's going to happen here. It does look like we're playing a long-term game that's going to work in our favor right now. To start with things very quickly, Maignan wants the project. He likes Chelsea's project. He wants to come here. He's told AC Milan that there's nothing Milan can do to entice Maignan to remain there. They blew it by wasting their time, by dilly-dallying with his contract renewal. They've had much time to get it sorted. When he's getting his final offer, that's like 1 to 1.5 million under the actual offer he wanted. I think now he's realized Milan's a sinking ship and it is time to bounce. So that's going to be their problem to hold. The big thing now comes down to negotiation differences. We all know why we started things very low at 10 mil euros. AC Milan want 30 million euros, but that isn't 30 million up front. That is 25 million with a further 5 million in add-ons. And we think that is criminal, considering that this guy is going to be bouncing for 3 and 12 months' time. It's criminal because he doesn't want to remain at AC Milan, yeah? He doesn't want to stay there. He knows that the Premier League is his destination. That's his future. He's made things abundantly clear. So what leverage does this really give AC Milan now? You know, they can't afford to just like ride this guy's contract down to zero and let him go for nothing. Not when there's tangible money they can make. Now, it does seem like at the moment, based on Italian reports, there's only like a 5 mil valuation difference, 5 to 10 million valuation difference at the moment. All this talks of us playing hardball where we're threatening Milan to just completely end this deal by Monday if they don't bow to our demands. We are being assertive. We're showing our boundaries, but don't be believing for any second that we will just instantly ignore Maignan. Maresca wants him. Maresca feels like the team has to go up another level because we need a goalkeeper that has world-class distribution from the back. That is the key thing. And this is something that Maignan offers in absolute abundance, as he's one of the best elite ball-playing goalkeepers in Europe. The guy's ability to open the lines up for fun, out of this world. His ability to find runners in behind. His relationship with Rafael Leao, for example. We need to add this player to our team to add more quality, depth, and options. So I'm really excited that the club have realized that they're not going to let this opportunity get wasted because we can sign one of the best goalkeepers in Europe right now for next to nothing. Let's hope that the value now is, there's a middle ground in everything right now. I think it's right for us to not be desperate and overpay. As I said in yesterday's video, we can't look weak in these negotiations. If we do, we'll look like whipping boys to every other club we are actively holding negotiations for players that we want to sign from them. And you can't do that right now. We can't be showing that eventually we'll budge because these clubs will make our lives even harder. So we have to play this delicate balancing act and fine line. But honestly, I'm really excited for this. I feel pretty confident this deal will go through. We're hearing that reports are suggesting that Maignan's not even far from agreeing personal terms, which would be like the easiest things for us to achieve. And I do think that as time goes on, Milan are eventually going to budge. And we know that Allegri wanted to just completely kill this deal by suggesting that Maignan is not allowed to leave. I understand that from his coaching perspective, but he doesn't have much say behind things because Milan's board, now they don't have European football. you know, they're in a position now where they can't afford to keep their operations going how it is right now. This is why they can't even afford to satisfy Maignan's wage demands when there was a point in time he wanted to remain at AC Milan. That door is now closed and it isn't happening anymore. So let's watch this space, my friends. But I think big things are about to come soon. And personally, I feel like the club's offer, we want to pay like 50 mil euros. We think that's fair. I think it is too. But I think we can creep it up to at least 20, maybe slightly past 20 with add-ons. There'll be like easy, achievable add-ons and more difficult ones. I think it's worth maybe overpaying slightly, but dramatically under the 30 million euros that AC Milan think they can get out from us. So my friends, let's continue to watch the space. But right now we have more news reports to get through. And I want to discuss a story I'm very personally excited for. And that is all things Mohamed Kudus. So let's tackle this report right now, my friends. And the big news we learned actually late last night came from a very interesting source that covers West Ham. I'm going to put it on screen for you guys right now so you guys can see originally where this story came from. Since then, it has been supported and confirmed by many other outlets. And West Ham rejected an offer from us that involved a group of players we hope to offer in a player exchange plus undisclosed amount of money. That group did include Dewsbury Hall, Sanchez, Chukwuemeka, Tosin, and even Trevor Chalobah. But as confirmed, West Ham said none of those players interest them, and if any deal was to happen, it would have to involve money. Now, the minimum amount of money West Ham want to receive to even negotiate and start talks over selling Kudus is around £70 million, which I think is even a bit too high. And West Ham don't have that leverage to ask for that amount of money because I don't think there's going to be big bidding wars for him. I think a lot of clubs like him, but I don't think any club will satisfy that type of money. So this gives me a bit of hope. We have learned that Kudus, of course, doesn't want to go to Saudi Arabia. He wants to remain in the Premier League. And he is very excited by the links with us. We're learning that Chelsea Football Club really like Kudus. We did have long-term interest in him in that summer window where we signed Cole Palmer. I just thought to myself at the time, it's insane that we did not buy both in the same window. We would have saved a lot of money on attacking players if we had the foresight to buy both players together at the same time, because they'd be playing together and they'd be cooking. I'm hoping that we can make this happen right now. Let's not forget Cole Palmer himself really rates Kudus. He said that, out of all the guys in the Prem right now, he's one of the guys that he values and rates really highly. And I think that's for good reason. I've been saying for a long time, Kudus, he is a player that is the best dribbler in the Premier League. And he's a big game player. This is a player that can play across every single position. We're looking at a particular type of player I keep stressing. Your Morgan Rogers, your Joao Pedro, your Mohamed Kudus, guys that can play up front, in behind. Left side, right side, inside left, inside right. We need a profile like this. Maresca likes players who are comfortable across multiple positions. And we don't have that type of maverick guy that can really unlock a team with his ability to take on two, take on three. Open up spaces by attracting opposition players onto him. When we've seen Paris Saint-Germain play, look what Doué's done. Look what players like this have offered when they have that ability to carry the ball into dangerous spaces and zones and attract pressure. It just makes your team more fluid and more dynamic, and it makes everyone operating in that system a lot better. So I think this is the right type of move, and I think it makes sense to go for, one of the best attacking mids in the country. Sorry, I don't care that he didn't get 20 goals and 20 assists for a West Ham team that were useless under Lopetegui with their slow-ass midfield, doing absolutely nothing. And everyone focuses so much on Kudus. He was actually one of the better performers for West Ham. What about Lucas Paqueta, who didn't even get an assist last season, I don't understand why the disparity is so big between them. Both these guys shouldn't be at West Ham, in my opinion. They're both good enough for a top 6 level. But to focus on Kudus, I don't know why his season's used so hard against him. I mean, he came in big near the end of the season. His numbers went up. Big games, he's been a threat. He's been dangerous. 90 dribbles completed. So he's doubled the dribbling output compared to every other attacking player that we have. It's more than Sancho and Palmer combined with their 43 each. Bring this guy to Chelsea Football Club, man. You're seeing the clips of him. That combination of his work rate, his strength. He can receive back to goal, the half-turn spins. Imagine what he can offer us transitionally. Yeah, imagine what him and Palmer would do together in the team. Like, I'm seeing the starlights with this one. I'm glad the club also realized that Kudus is a big player, and I'm glad that they're looking to engineer something. The only issue, though, will forever be the price tag. Now, a part of me feels like if we want to turn things to the next level, do we possibly consider, yeah, having to sell some of these players first and then use their sale funds to invest in the Kudus? Because I don't think we have to get this move done before the Club World Cup. There's a bit more time for this one to grow over time, right? That would be what I do. Could West Ham potentially soften their stance? I mean, they liked your Broges, your Chukwuemekas. I mean, Robert Sanchez, Graham Potter, great relationship. I was having a conversation with one of my guys, brought up a great point surrounding that. Every time Potter's gone somewhere, Sanchez tends to follow. I just think that there's possibilities for negotiations to form and a lot of maneuverability, if that's the right way I'm saying things. So this is definitely one to pay attention to. We have to wait for West Ham now to get realistic, drop their fee, or maybe be a bit humble and realize, listen, Dewsbury Hall's, Brochers, Chukwuemeka's, Sanchez's, you wanted these guys not even once upon a time, like last season in January. Yeah, don't think you're too good for that. So let's watch this space, my friends. But right now, let's move on to tackling the latest reports on another surprise player, and that is Joao Pedro. So we're learning some soft reports today coming out from the Metro and other UK outlets suggesting that we, in fact, have had soft talks and negotiations surrounding Brighton for Joao Pedro, and our offer was 50 million plus unwanted players as part of the deal. Now, it seems like Brighton's valuation for Pedro is around 60 million pounds. Not too crazy. It's fallen by 10 million compared to the 70 million they originally wanted. And, I don't really see Pedro being high up the shortlist. He's not. But he is part of the shortlist. I think he is a very good player. If I'm Liverpool, I'm signing this guy. I think he'll absolutely cook for them. But this is someone that we may potentially turn towards if we don't get deals for other guys. So it doesn't really hurt to figure out numbers and see what we can do. I think ideally the club would prefer to maybe offer players in exchange because it just saves a lot of time instead of having to negotiate with 50 clubs to haggle over, 5 million differences. That takes up a lot of time. And this is why near the end of windows, we're not getting the profit we want from sales. We are doing long moves we didn't want to do to begin with. And it's just not good to be in a position where you're still holding on to players that you didn't necessarily want to begin with. So let's see what happens here. As I keep stressing, Pedro's in that same bracket of player as your Morgan Rogers, your Kuduses, guys who are comfortable across multiple attacking positions. He scored 30 goals in 2 seasons at Brighton. Yeah, the guy is a very good player, very skillful, very fast. If he became my backup guy, I'm not going to be upset with this. I think this guy is quite a decent player, actually. And it'll be interesting to see if more comes from this story. But in the meantime, what's some of your thoughts and opinions on the Joao Pedro? Do you see something in it, or do you think this would be like a massive mistake and a big L? Let us know how you're feeling behind this story. And this now lets us finish things now by discussing all the latest updates surrounding Hugo Ekitike, because obviously I'm going to end the video discussing him because there always seems to be something more on Hugo at the moment. So I'm going to play it for you guys right now. And at the moment, we're learning that negotiations are advancing for him. Now, Frankfurt are still playing a bit of hardball, which naturally they're going to do. they're allowed to do that because they have secured Champions League football, right? That's going to be the thing that works in their favor. So if they had to keep Ekitike, that's not really a bad problem for themselves, right? But I think there is belief that they know that they're going to have to sell because the player does want to leave. And listen, man, Frankfurt signed these guys to begin with. They signed them knowing full well they are the stepping stone club which will put these guys on to bigger and better things. So they're not going to ruin the whole business model over like a 10 mil difference. Let's see what happens there. We're learning more updates though. As we've learned, there is interest in Strasbourg players from Frankfurt, but that list has grown now. Two other guys they're looking at is Decore, and another one is Omega. Now, we know that we were potentially looking to make a pre-agreement for Omega to come next year, but if the lapse here and if we do sign Ekitike, what is the utility behind also having Omega in the club? My thinking is that just like what Madrid do when they, for example, Paz, who's at Lake Como, they buy him back for 8 million, they flip him on and sell him to Leverkusen for 30. Does it make sense for us to start tapping into that way of making money at the club by doing this with Strasbourg players or just doing them in separate deals, which of course benefits the entirety of Blueco, right? That could be the way to do things at the moment. There is a little bit of things to stay wary of though. That is Paris Saint-Germain, because I've been hearing personally that they are potentially looking at reuniting with the player that they let go. At the time, he wasn't ready. He had Mbappe in front of him. Now he probably is. And it really depends on Ramos leaving Paris Saint-Germain. Now, Paris Saint-Germain have a 20% selling clause, which means that, number one, they could buy him back for a discount because of that selling clause. And number two, they could just absolutely destroy us in terms of what he's offered in wages. Now, he was offered a big boy contract to begin with, right? Like, I think it was like nearly 200,000 or around that range, between like 150 to 200,000 when he first signed for Paris Saint-Germain. So he'll probably earn even more money. So I'm crossing my fingers that Paris Saint-Germain don't do nothing and we're able to quickly engineer a move now. If it involves letting some Strasbourg guys go, so be it, because I think Ekitike is that good. He will really upgrade what we do up front. I see him as a better version of a Nicholas Jackson, and I just think that, yeah, this is the type of deal you don't want to miss out on. So my friends, that's everything from me today, all the latest reports. I'm going to try and get better at, obviously I need a bit of time to master using OBS. I want to save a few more minutes. The videos are getting a bit too long than I typically would ever like them to be. So apologies for that. Bear with me as I master using OBS. And I still hope you guys enjoy the video and share your thoughts and opinions below. So have a good day, you guys. I'll catch you soon with more videos. Love. Cool.